Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining the session. Appreciate that. And couple of minutes, and then we start the class. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining the session, and we will begin shortly. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining the session. Good evening, Sandeep. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining the session. We'll take 2 more minutes, and we'll start the class in 2 minutes. Thank you. Good evening, Sari. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining the class. Thank you all. And we'll take 1 more minute, and then we will start the class in 1 minute. Thank you. Thank you all. Give 30 more seconds for people to join, and we will start the session in 30 seconds. Okay, let us begin now. and thank you, everyone. So, what is this session about? So, this is basically SAP Sales and Distribution Beginners class. So, this is basically, we call it Beginners of 101 class. It is for 1 hour. So, the duration of session today, so duration would be about 1 hour. So, we'll take 1 hour and then we'll wrap up the session around 1 hour, sometime plus minus. That is our objective. Now, in this class of SAP Sales and Distribution, what is our goal? What we are trying to achieve? So we'll basically do SAP Sales and Distribution overview. That what is SAP Sales and Distribution is, and along with the overview, we will also do SAP SD system demo. So we will also do certain exercises in the system as well. So this is what we're going to do, approximately 1 hour plus minus some time. Okay. And so uh, everyone is on mute um, to avoid any background noise, etc. There is a section and which can be used for asking questions. We can use that for asking questions. Okay, so that is what we can do. So there is a section here in GoToMeeting, and that you can use to ask any question which you might be having. And thank you everyone for coming and joining the session today. So that is the goal. Let's continue with our discussion. So SAP Sales and Distribution. Now, why do we do this course? What is the goal? Because when we do this course, then people can get an idea what is SAP Sales and Distribution module is about and what does this module can do. So that is the goal for this course. So people can get at least high level end-to-end overview of SAP Sales and Distribution. That is why we call it beginner's course. Now, let me briefly introduce myself. So I have been doing SAP since 1998. 24 years, many years. In my these are some of the companies where I did a implementation. Most of them in US, some in Europe, and some in India, and basically I worked with three companies. I was associate partner with IBM, and I was senior director with Accenture and Capgemini. In the US, out of the New York office, I live in New Jersey. I'm a US citizen, and that is what I have been teaching. In fact, when I started my learning, I become an accidental teacher, and that teaching has continued since then. So many thousand of the people I have taught in my class so far. So we'll give an overview of SAP SD. We'll talk about what its sales and distribution functionalities are, what kind of a business functions, what kind of business processes which are covered in sales and distribution, and integration, and also talk about questions. And as I mentioned, we will also do some demo also, in which I will be demonstrating SAP also. So, talking about what is the SAP SD. So, if you see here, the SAP is always divided into these colors. You see certain colors here. Now, these colors which you see at your screen, these colors have some meaning to it. There's a green color, there's a red color, there's yellow color, there's a blue color, there's a purple color, and so on and so forth. Now, what is the meaning of these colors? So these colors basically represents how SAP is constructed. So green is logistic, red is finance, yellow is HR, and then this is. So when we are learning sales and distribution module, we are learning one part of green, which basically means we are learning one part of logistics. In the logistic, along with the sales and distribution, there is also materials management, there is also production planning, there is also quality management, there is also production plant maintenance, there are many more. Yellow means HR, and these red color basically means there are various finance modules like finance, accounting, controlling, etc. And these are various modules. Now, which everybody probably should know that SAP is written in language ABAP. ABAP is SAP's language. This is called Advanced Business Applications and Programming. So it is basically fourth generation language. It is SAP's own proprietary language. Almost entire SAP, some exceptions, is written in this language called ABAP. That is the programming language of SAP. Now, when we're looking at SAP, when we are talking about SD, we are talking about functional consultant, not programmer. That is one thing which is very, very important point to understand. Now, if you see here, if you look at this picture carefully, you will see that along with this, each of these boxes, there is a open box, right? So there's an open box, open box. What is this open box basically means? So when we are learning SD, when we are learning MM, when we are learning FI, or any module for that matter, what do we learn? We basically learn two things. Number one, what is there in the box? That is sales and distribution functionality. So that is the one thing we learn. Second thing which we learn, that what various things which we can configure. So that is the second thing. So those are the two things which we configure in. That is the two things we learn in when we're learning any module for that matter. So let us talk about SAP sales and distribution functions. Now again, there is a color. So if you see here, there are again different type of colors. So I hope everybody can hear me or my voice coming to everyone clearly. So who we have on the phones? We have a Sherry, we have a Sitara, we have Yogesh, we have Mohammad Hatia, we have Sandeep, Mahiddin, the Sheikh, we have Lakshmi, we have Prashant, Zaid, we have Muhammad Sudar Balim, we have Sanjeev, and we have Suparna Dev. So thank you all, and thank you for joining the session. So again, when you look at this screen, then you will see certain colors. Okay, there is a blue color, there is a yellow color, there is a red color, and there is this orange color. So that basically means every SAP module is divided into 4 buckets. Every SAP module, whether it's SD or MM or FI, etc. So first and foremost, there is a organization structure. You can take pen and paper, you can make a note of all these points as well. So there is a organization structure. Then there is a master data. Then there is a business processes. Then there is a reporting. So when we look at the SAP SD module or MM module or FI module or any module for that matter in SAP, every module is constructed in similar fashion. This is very important point. All these different modules, the data flow of all the modules, SD and MM and all that, is very similar. Construct and architecture of every module is very similar. So that basically means if you understand one module, you can understand another module very, very quickly because they are constructed in similar fashion. So this architecture is common in all. So here, so blue there's organization structure, yellow there's a master data, red there's a business processes, and this orange basically means reporting. So we will be talking about these four things. So when we're talking about SAP SD, we will talk about these four things. The first thing we're going to talk about is organization structure. Now, what is the organization structure? So organization structure represents internal structure of organization. So internal structure of organization, that is what organization structure basically represents. So when we look at the organization, any organization for that matter, it is organized structure, internal structure of the. Now what does that basically means? So if you look at this picture here, we have something called company code, right? Then we have something called sales organization. Now what does this basically means? So let's understand that. So we have something called company code. Company code basically is company. It represents a legal entity. What does this basically means? That basically means, so for example, you have a Pepsi, yeah? Pepsi US, you have Pepsi Canada, you have a Pepsi UK, you have a Pepsi Japan. Okay? So that basically means they are separate legal entity. Pepsi US, although they're part of the same Pepsi, but fundamentally they are separate legal entities. Pepsi US is governed by US laws. Pepsi Canada is governed by Canadian laws. Pepsi UK is governed by British law. Pepsi US paying tax to the US government. Pepsi Canada paying tax to the Canadian government. They're governed by the Canadian laws. So that is called company code in SAP. That is what you see here, company code. Another thing is sales organization. Okay. So another thing which you see here is there is something called sales organization. Now, what is the sales organization? Sales organization basically represents selling entity. For example, like a sales department. In any company, for example, you will have a sales department. Now, how will you represent that sales department? So you will represent the sales department in SAP via sales organization. So that is called selling entity. Okay. So that is what this basically means. So that is called sales org. So you have to define this sale is done by which sales department. That is what we have. Now there is another thing here called distribution channel. Now look at this word carefully. Distribution channel. Okay. Distribution channel basically means how the product reaches to the customer. So let's take an example. So let us say you want to buy a mobile phone. You want to buy an iPhone. If you want to buy an iPhone, how can you buy? So you can go to apple.com, you can go to Apple Store, you can go to Verizon or AT&T or T-Mobile store. So that basically means you have at least three options, three channels to purchase that material. So that basically means you can do e-commerce, you can go to retail store, you can go to reseller. These are the three distribution channel in this example, right? So that is what the SAP organization structure represents. So organization structure represents internal structure of organization in which you have a company code which represent you can define that. Then you have a sales organization which is selling entity, and then your distribution channel how product reaches to customer. Now then you have a so in one sales organization you can have a different distribution channel. So my company is selling through retail, my company is selling the product to resellers, my company is selling the product to e-commerce. So that basically means in my company we can have three channels. The another thing is division. Okay. So another thing which we have here is division. What is the division? Now if you see that in my company I have a car division, I have a motorcycle division, I have a chemical division. Right? We took an example of Apple, like iPhone. So like in an Apple company, you can have Mac division, iPhone division, iPod division, iWatch division, etc. So that is basically grouping of product. So what is the division? Division is grouping of products. So what kind of divisions you have? You can logically divide your product into different groups that become division. That is what you see here. Then there is something called sales office. Now what is the sales office? So sales office basically means like a lot of company have a selling offices. I have a sales office in New York and sales office in Chicago and sales office in London and sales office in Berlin and sales office in different other places. So sales office is a classical selling office where selling activities are being performed. And that in SAP is called sales office. Now, another thing which you also can define in SAP called sales district. Sales district is what? If you look at this example carefully, north, south, west, east, and all that. Many times you would like to define different territories. So sales district could be like a territory in your company. So for example, you have a in US, you say, okay, this is north part of US and south part of US and midwest part of the US and northeast part of US. So you can have a different geographical demarcation of your marketplace. And that geographical demarcation of your marketplace and SAP is called sales district. Then we have a sales group. Now, what is the sales group? Okay. I hope you can all hear my voice clearly. Everybody, is my voice coming? Okay. Just want to clarify. You can say yes and no in the question session. Just want to make sure. Sometime voice is not clear. Suparna, can you hear me? And Prashant, Sherry, my voice coming okay? Okay, good. Thank you. Okay, so we have a sales group. Now, what is the sales group? So, sales group basically represent the employees, the people who is selling the product. I have a Michael, Thomas, so that you represent in SAP sales group. Then we have a, remember in SD module, there's a sales and distribution. So all these different company code, sales organization, distribution channel, division, sales office, sales district, sales group, these are the organization units from sales perspective. Okay. And then we can have um, distribution. So then we can have, we call it different organization unit from shipping perspective. So if you see here, there is a plant, there is a shipping point, there is a loading point. Okay. Plant basically means where the manufacturing is conducted. In your company, you can have a different plants. Shipping point, where you are shipping the product from, your distribution centers. Loading point basically means within your distribution center, you can have a different loading areas. So these are the different organization unit in SAP from sales and distribution perspective. So far, we talked about organization structures. We said there are four buckets, four pillars of any module. We talked about first, we talked about organization structures. Just recap what we talked about in organization structure. So in organization structure, we talk about company code, we talk about sales organization, we talked about distribution channel, we talked about division, we talked about sales office, sales district, sales group. In the distribution part, we talked about shipping point, loading point, and plant. So these are the organization structure we talked about. Now the next part is the master data. Okay, what is the master data? Now, ultimately, we are selling to a customer. So, if I am Pepsi, who I'm selling to? So, if I'm Pepsi, then I'm selling to Costco. I'm selling to Target. I'm selling to Walmart. So, for me, Costco is my customer. Target is my customer. Walmart is my customer. So all those different customers which my company is involved with, those customers should have been created in our SAP system. So that is the customer. The second part is the material. That basically means ultimately we are selling some product. When Apple is selling iPhone, iPhone is their product. When they're selling the MacBook, MacBook is their product. When Pepsi is selling the product, their Pepsi bottles is their product. Their chips are their product. So depending upon the company, they have a different products. And those products in SAP are called materials. In SAP, When we say master data, and master data, or customer master. So customer master and master data customer can be divided into different buckets. You see the customer master. So the customer master has different type of data. You have an address, you have information about sales, you have information about shipping, how we going to ship the product, how we going to build the product. Related to finance, payment term, whether we're going to give a 30 days credit or 40 days credit. So in customer master, you have a millions of different type of data, gazillions, but all data divided into general data, right, related to address, phone number, fax number, email. Sales data, which is maintained from the sales perspective. For example, if this customer fall into which sales office, this customer fall into which sales district, who is the salesperson for this? Yeah. So Costco salesperson is Michael. Walmart salesperson is Thomas. So different. You need to designate that. Then you have a finance data also. That basically means this customer, what is my payment term? Oh, 45 days. How this customer gonna pay, by check or by online transfer? So all the data is maintained in SAP. There is also something called partner function. This is a very interesting concept. Now, what is this partner function? So now here in SAP, we can have a sold to, ship to, bill to, and the pay. Now, what is the meaning of it? Okay. So sold to represent the customer. So I have been giving an example. Let us say we have a Costco, right? So Costco is our customer. Then with the Costco, we have another, and Costco is in, let's say, head office in New York, for example. So their head office is like a sold to address. Ship to, where we're going to deliver the product. So when we're selling the product to the Costco, we're selling or sending or dispatching or delivering product to their warehouse. And the warehouse is in New Jersey or New York and Pennsylvania, or all different city and state across the country. So those are the ship to addresses. Where basically means from where I'm getting my money from. So we're getting our money from their bank in South Carolina. So that become the address of the customer where we are getting our money from. Then we have bill to party. Bill to party basically means from where we are sending our invoices. Okay. So that basically means we are sending our invoice, their accounting department of the Costco is in Boston. So when we send our invoice, we send the invoice to the address in the Boston. Now, we take an example, Costco, because it's a large company. If your customer is small, then all the 4 addresses could be in one place. We are sending goods to the same place, invoice to the same place, and getting payment from same place. But in SAP, you can maintain all that different information. Now we have something called material master. Now, what does that basically means? So material master is your product. Material master is your material which you are selling to the customer. But material could be a selling material. Material could also be purchasing material. And the material can also be of different type. Okay. So now when we talk about the material, in that material, we can maintain the general data, we can maintain the sales data, we can maintain the purchasing data, we can maintain the finance data, we can maintain the warehouse data. So different type of data we can maintain in the material. Let us recap. We started a SD module, and we said in SD module there are 4 buckets, 4 pillars. Number 1 is the organization structure. Number two, master data. Number three, different sales information. In organized structure, we talk about sales organization, distributional division, sales office, sales group, sales district, and all that. In master data, we talked about two master data. The one master data which we discussed is material master, and second we talk about customer master. Now we're going to talk about the processes. Now when we talk about the SD module, in SD module, this is the process which you see at your screen, and then you will see three boxes, and each box has a different color. So there is this reddish color, this yellowish color, this bluish color. All processes of SD module, all means all processes of SD module are divided into these three categories: sales processes, delivery processes, and the billing process. So these are the three processes. In the sales process, we talked about inquiry, quotation, sales order, delivery, and invoice. This is the process flow. Inquiry means, let us say I'm selling my company making iPhone, my company selling laptop, and we have launched a new laptop. Somebody calls us, hey, do you have this laptop? And say, yeah, we do. So that basically means that person is creating inquiry. And after inquiry, that person says, okay, well, I like this price. Can you send me quotation? And we send him quotation. After quotation, customer liked the price, customer liked the product, and then customer wanted to place an order, and then we create a order confirmation. We get an order from customer. After we get an order, then we deliver the product. So we get an order for that computer or laptop, and then we deliver it. And once we deliver, we also invoice. So inquiry, quotation, sales order, deliver, invoice. So this is end-to-end sales cycle. We get an inquiry of the product, then we submit a quotation, then we get an order, we deliver product, and then we invoice. Now that is what this whole process is about. Now we go back to in pre-sales. So all these processes divided into pre-sales, sales, delivery, billing, and payment. Pre-sales have inquiry and quotation. Now, how do we enter the inquiry and quotation? Okay, let's look at it. So now I log into SAP. So this is SAP. So I log into SAP and I want to create an inquiry. So now you're looking at the SAP system, SAP software. This is SAP menu, and here when you go to SD module, is part of SD. So we go to SD, sales and distribution, we go to sales, and we get an inquiry. And this is the menu path. So we get an order for inquiry from customer, and we want to create an inquiry. So we click on it. So this is create inquiry. So we enter inquiry type, IN, sales 1000, 1000, hit enter. And then we get which customer it is. We enter the customer number. So we just use any customer from previous. Our customer is a step. We can enter the PO number. We can enter the date, PO date. We can enter the material, which material we are selling. We can say we are selling this material. How much we are selling? So let's say we are selling 10 pieces. Inquiry, we can say, okay, this inquiry is valid only from this date to this date, because I don't want this customer to come after 5 years. So we can put a validity date, whatever that validity date is. This could be 1 day or 2 day, 10 day, 1 year, 5 year, 6 month, whatever. We hit enter and we save it. See the message in the bottom. Inquiry 10003912 has been created. So what we did, we learned to enter a simple inquiry. So when we do end-to-end sales cycle in the master data, we talked about customer master and the material master. And in the business processes, in the SD module, the very first thing we have is sales inquiry. And we create an inquiry. So this is entered sales inquiry. Then we create a sales quotation. Then we create a sales order. Then we create a delivery. Then we did a billing. Then we did document flow. So this is a end-to-end sales cycle. End-to-end sales cycle. Okay, this is end-to-end sales cycle. So we talk about master data, business processes, we create inquiry. Now let us say from this inquiry, we want to create a quotation. Customer say, yeah, this is fine. And now I want to place an, can you send me quotation? No. So we go to quotation. See, this is quotation. So we click on it and we go to VAC21. This is quotation, create. This is quotation, QT. Quotation. So it's 1000, 10, 00. Create with reference. So I can create a quotation with reference to inquiry. Create with reference to inquiry. And we hit copy. So what we're doing? Quotation, creating with reference to inquiry. We're creating a sales quotation with reference to inquiry. So it will copy the entire data from inquiry to quotation. Now, you can do inquiry, then quotation, or customer can call me and we can directly do quotation. So that we have a choice. Do you want to do inquiry or do you want to do quotation? Do you want to do one of them? Both of them. Even after inquiry, customers place an order, or they can directly place an order. I have made up my mind. I directly call and say, I want to create an order. So all of them is possible. So this is a quotation. Hit enter. It copies everything, my customer, my material, everything get copied. I don't need to enter anymore. And from valid from this date to this date. Okay. And now here we double click on it. We go to conditions and we want to enter some price also. $100, whatever. So we enter the price also. And then we save it. This is save button. And see the message in the bottom. Quotation 2003895 created. So we learn to simply create a quotation. Simple data entry. We learn to create a quotation. That is what we see here. Quotation. Customer, valid from this date to this date. This is the item, material number, quantity, price. We entered that. Then in SAP, we can enter the customer order or sales order. Now, finally, customer like our quotation and they come back to us and say, we want to place an order. Okay. And for that, this is our price. And how can we do that? So now they place an order. And for that order, we want to place a customer order. Customer has decided to place an order. Customer order. Customer order. Okay, so let's create a customer order. We make a note of the quotation. We go back. And here, below the quotation, we have a sales order, VA01. Hit enter. Then we order type OR. Okay. OR. And create with reference. And hit enter. We want to create sales order. You see that here? Create sales order with reference to quotation number. This is a quotation number. And we say copy. Okay. So what are we doing? We are creating a sales order with reference to quotation. So we create a quotation, we submit it to the customer, and then customer comes back, yep, I want it. So what we're doing? Sales order with reference to sales quotation. If you see here on this Excel sheet, customer order. In the customer order is basically sales order. When customers say, yeah, I like this laptop, I want to place an order. And then we finally make a decision to place an order. Okay. And then we place the order. The customer place the order. So this is the sales order. This is the sales order. Now if we see here, create sales order overview. Now in the sales order, my customer got copied, my material got copied, my item got copied, my price got copied, everything get copied. If you remember, if you see here, we enter the customer, material, quantity and all that only once. When we create a next document, it copy from the previous document. That is the beauty. We enter the only data once. And then There is a price determination. In SAP, you can enter different type of prices. You see the price determination. You can have a price, surcharges, discount, deductions, taxes. So if we come back here, if we double click on the line item, if we go to conditions, okay, and here, if we go to the drop down, you see that how many different type of conditions there are 51 entries. Rebates and cost and some calculated costs and some material price discount, some customer discount, freight and pallet discount, promotion. So many things you can enter. Billions, millions, different type of prices, discount and surcharges and shipping charges and handling charges and freight charges, unloading charges, some promotion prices, some commission prices, some rebate prices. All of them you can maintain. So if you see here, I have my price $100. I have a discount 6%. And we can enter many other things also. If you see here, there's so many things here. I want to enter the freight, because if I'm entering the product, they will be the freight. So this is my price, $100 per piece. Then I have a 6% discount. It came from somewhere. And then we have a freight, $10 per kilogram. 1000 minus 60 plus 100. Net become 1040. So there is a very extensive pricing engine in SAP, price determination. That is what you see here, different type of prices. You can also do determination of the different delivery dates. So if you see here in my screen, so there is a delivery date, 11/17. And if you go back here, in SAP, these are different tabs: sales tab, contact tab, shipping tab, billing tab. I enter my PO number, enter the date. And if we come back here, what do we see? You see that at different dates. If you see here, this is my delivery date. This is my material availability date. This is my loading date, when the loading should start. So material should be available on this date. Material should be loaded on this date. If my delivery date, this is whole engine is there, which calculate all that. And this requested delivery date is this. We can change it. By default, it gives today's date. So let's say I want to give a date of some different date. It changed different dates. And after that, it recalculate. And we save it. See the message in the bottom. Sales order 2701 saved. We are able to create a sales order. Now customer has placed an order to us, and for that we create a sales order. Now we got a sales order. What is next? Next is delivery. So the next thing we should do is delivery, where we have to deliver the product to the customer. I have to ship the product, and then I send the material to the customer. So there's whole process going on: shipping, picking, packing, delivery document, putting loading into the truck. So that is the whole delivery process. Okay, and shipping and transportation process, which you can do as far as SAP is concerned. And that is where we have, if we go back, sales, and below sales there is a shipping and transportation, because ultimately when you're shipping that laptop and desktop, we need to ship it, give it to FedEx or UPS or somewhere, or some trucking company. Outbound delivery, create single document, and this is VL01N. Okay, that is what we do. And then we go to VL01N. Okay. Now this is create outbound delivery for the sales order. Now we have to deliver the product to customer. So we go to shipping point, enter. It's a delivery document. Now here we have to do different functions. We have to pick the material and lot of things. You see the loading material, you can do loading function. You see the loading function, transportation function. You need to call which truck, which carrier. All that functions you can do. You see picking, loading, transportation, and all these functions are done. Then we can do post-code issue. So this is the post-code issue. And here we have a post-code issue function in the SAP system. So we have all these functions: picking, packing, load goods. You call the trucking company. Now, when we are looking at creation of the delivery, you can do one-to-one, one order, one delivery, or you can deliver one order into multiple deliveries. I don't have entire product. I cannot give it to you some next week, one some after next following week. All of that you can do. Delivery due list basically means for the warehouse, he runs a program. He need to know what he need to deliver today. That is a delivery due list. List of delivery, which is pending for delivery today. So that is called delivery due list. Then the next is goods issue. So we do the issue of the material. Now see that message in the bottom? Delivery 8000 has been saved. That is what we have, good issue. And after that, the next step and the last step, we do the billing. We got an inquiry, we got a quotation, we got an order, we deliver product, and once we deliver, we invoice customer. So the next step, so this is the delivery document. I go to invoicing. So sales, shipping and transportation, and then next is billing. We bill the customer. This is the billing. Create. And then we select delivery document. And here we create delivery with reference to sales order. And this is the delivery document. After delivery, the next thing is we do the billing. We enter here and then we double click on it. And then we save it. See the message in the bottom. Billing document saved. Now what we did, let's see something called doc flow. So we go to VA03, and if you look at it here, this is end-to-end sales cycle. And here, this is what we did. We created inquiry. This is inquiry number. This is the date, status, completed, done. Then after inquiry, next thing which we did was quotation. Customer did a quotation. This is the quotation number. This is the date. Completed. Then we create a sales order. This is the date. Completed. Then we go to after sales order, we create a delivery. Delivery number, date, completed. Picking basically means we pick the material. This is the picking number, date, completed. Then we do the goods issue. This is the goods issue number, date, completed. Invoice number, date. This is invoice number. This is the date, completed. And then accounting document created, which basically integration with the finance. We invoice, now finance will do the collection. This is end-to-end sale cycle. That's it. This is end-to-end sales cycle. We said 1 hour and we are done in 58 minutes. End-to-end sales cycle, overview of SD, which is what I was planning to show to you all. And I will thank you for actually coming to this session today, listening to this SAP SD beginner course. And 1 hour beginning overview and end-to-end SD sales and distribution cycle. With that, thank you. And you have a good evening and be in touch. Let me give my number and all that. I think most of you already have. So my number is 973-885-7245 and my email address dsdh@mythinktree.com. You can email me, you can call me as your convenience, and we can talk. So with that, thank you. So if you have any, and we can talk. Thank you very much. Thank you all. And I really appreciate you coming here. And we said 1 hour and almost 1 hour we are done. So with that, everyone, thank you very much for coming to this session. And let me share my number again. This is my cell phone number. This is a US number, by the way, because I live in US. And this is, this is my email, dsad@mythinktree.com. You're welcome to call me, email me, and whatever is convenient to you. Okay. Thank you very much. And please take care. Bye. Good night.